For years, the monarchy relied on silence as its strongest weapon, but this time, silence wasn't enough. Prince William made a move so rare, so final, that even seasoned royal watchers were stunned. This wasn't a leak, not a briefing, and not a carefully worded line buried in palace language. It was direct, unmistakable, and carried his name. Just a few words, but the meaning was impossible to miss. In that moment, one of the longest-running sagas in modern royal history quietly came to an end, and the question everyone is still asking is simple. What finally pushed the future king to draw a line that could never be erased? Relations between the Sussexes and the Prince of Wales had reportedly been tense for years, but what made it more dangerous was how quietly that tension grew. Sources have claimed William believed Harry and Meghan continued to profit from their royal association long after stepping away, while publicly positioning themselves as outsiders. Behind palace walls, patience thinned. Yet outwardly, nothing changed. No public rebukes, no confrontations, just distance. That distance, however, created space, and according to insiders, that space was increasingly filled with narratives William could no longer control. Royal heirs are trained to endure. William followed that script for most of his adult life, absorbing criticism, rumors, and speculation without response. Silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Letting stories burn out on their own was considered safer than feeding them. But over time, reports suggest this restraint became a liability. Each unanswered claim lingered longer, each rumor grew legs, and what once felt manageable began to feel structural. The system that protected the monarchy for generations was suddenly struggling to keep up with modern media dynamics. According to royal observers, the real problem wasn't criticism itself, but ambiguity. Carefully worded palace statements left room for interpretation, and that room allegedly became leverage. Every no comment left a door slightly open, and speculation rushed in. Over time, that ambiguity allowed competing narratives to coexist, blurring reality. William reportedly reached a turning point when it became clear that silence no longer de-escalated conflict. It extended it. The longer nothing was said, the more others spoke on his behalf. Then came the moment no one expected. A statement, brief and final, released under William's own name. Not anonymous, not filtered, just words that left no room for reinterpretation. Insiders have said even those deep inside royal circles reread it twice, stunned by its clarity. It wasn't emotional and it wasn't aggressive. It was definitive. More than anything, it signaled that negotiation was over. Whatever doors once appeared cracked open were now firmly closed, and that closure was intentional. This wasn't just about Harry and Meghan. It revealed the kind of leader William intends to be: calm, deliberate, and willing to act when restraint stops working. Royal commentators quickly framed it as a preview of his reign, one defined less by tradition and more by boundaries. This wasn't rebellion against royal norms. It was an evolution of them. The message was simple. Protecting the institution sometimes requires clarity, even when that clarity is uncomfortable. Reports suggest Catherine played a significant but understated role in this shift. Focused on long-term initiatives, from early childhood development to mental health advocacy, she rarely responded to negativity. But according to sources, patterns began to emerge. Critical stories appeared with suspicious timing, often shortly after her public work gained traction. Rather than reacting emotionally, she reportedly documented everything. When she finally brought her concerns to William, it wasn't as complaint, but as evidence. That distinction mattered. What William allegedly realized next changed everything. This wasn't random hostility or tabloid chaos. Reports claim security briefings highlighted coordinated online behavior amplifying specific narratives. Catherine appeared to be the primary target. At that point, the issue stopped being personal. It became institutional. A monarchy built on credibility cannot afford sustained campaigns aimed at weakening its future queen. The stakes shifted overnight. King Charles, according to insiders, struggled deeply during this period. He reportedly hoped reconciliation was still possible, balancing his role as a father with his responsibility as monarch. Ongoing health concerns only intensified the strain. Palace staff were stretched thin managing repeated Sussex-related controversies, and each delay seemed to fuel more speculation. Charles wanted healing, but William saw hesitation becoming paralysis. Where Charles saw family, William increasingly saw risk. This is where Princess Anne reportedly stepped in. Known for her clarity and lack of sentimentality, Anne is said to have delivered a message that cut through everything else. You cannot protect everyone. At some point, you choose the institution or the individual creating instability. Her words carried weight because she has lived by them her entire life. There was no anger in her delivery, just realism. According to sources, that conversation shattered William's hope for a middle ground. By late 2024, reports suggest a private meeting took place behind closed doors at Windsor. No ceremony, no theatrics, just a decision long overdue. William presented the statement, precise and carefully worded. Catherine reportedly noted that it didn't attack anyone, it simply stated reality. Charles hesitated but ultimately gave his support, trusting his son's judgment. The decision wasn't impulsive. It was procedural, deliberate, and final. When the statement went live, the tone changed instantly. Headlines shifted from speculation to realization. Royal analysts understood this wasn't symbolic. It was operational. The ambiguity that once allowed reinterpretation vanished. Observers noted how rare it was for such clarity to come directly from an heir. This wasn't palace machinery at work. This was leadership. Reports suggest the impact on Harry and Meghan was immediate. Narrative flexibility disappeared. There were no loopholes left to work around. From that moment forward, their paths separated entirely from the institution. No coordination, no backing, no expectation of inclusion at future royal milestones. This wasn't framed as punishment, but as definition. Freedom, yes, but without royal leverage or protection. Every move now carried full independence and full consequence. This wasn't revenge, it was resolution. Prince William chose certainty over hope, structure over sentiment, and clarity over comfort. History will debate the ethics and fallout, but the significance is undeniable. In one decisive moment, the monarchy stopped waiting and started moving forward. Boundaries were drawn. Ambiguity ended. And a future king showed exactly how he intends to lead. If this breakdown changed how you see the situation, share your thoughts below, hit like, and stay subscribed for more deep dives into the story's shaping power behind the scenes.